Humans are learning to collaborate, coordinate, and contribute to meaningful purposes in a whole new manner thanks to blockchain technology. The formula: DAOs, Decentralized Autonomous Organizations. GM friends, and welcome to the very first episode of DAOnboarding, Stories of Web3. My name is OrnellaWeb3, and I'm excited to take you on a journey of exploring the world of decentralized autonomous organizations and its contributors. Now, to begin with, what exactly are DAOs? Well, they're a fascinating concept that combines technology, community, and collaboration. DAOs are digital communities where decisions are made collectively and anyone can participate and contribute, regardless of where they were born, their location, their gender, or background. So, just imagine a global network of humans working together on projects, sharing ideas, and making decisions without a traditional central authority. Sounds very new and probably quite chaotic, right? Yeah, it could be, but the truth is that the biggest problems of humanity are already all linked to a lack of proper and good-intentioned coordination. This time, we're learning how to coordinate in new ways, using the best technology at hand, our creativity, and most importantly, our heart. Thousands of humans around the world are reshaping the way we honor our talents, our skills, and our values through meaningful community work. Tribes are actually the best example of this throughout history. So it's basically the same concept, but now tribes are digital. Through DAOs, humans can now contribute with purpose, creating new value in the digital age. Now, you might be wondering how you can learn more about this. The reason why I've decided to create DAOnboarding, which means, as you might guess, onboarding to DAOs in Web3, is exactly to share the stories of the people who are at the frontier of this technology and new way of human coordination. There's no better way to learn than by relation. So this inspired me to share more about this curious, thriving, and growing world. My story in Web3 and DAOs is a story that starts with curiosity and a desire to be part of something bigger, as in, I would like to impact more people with good things. I would like to help improve lives and inspire wherever possible. Blockchain technology and the community that believes in it has given me the space to do this, to develop as a human in many senses, as a person, as a learner, as a friend, applying my values in any field. When I came upon the concept of decentralized communities a few years ago, that was around mid-2021, I was immediately captivated by the idea of people coming together to create something meaningful, something that's just so much bigger than our plain existence. The first episode of DAO, I'm honored to share with you the foundations of how this all began for me. It's the story of my own DAOnboarding, a time where my mind was blown by so many new things. Hours and hours of deep reading, learning, and connecting with like-minded people from around the world completely changed my life. It was like discovering a whole new dimension of collaboration, ideas flowing, where anyone's voice could be heard and valued. After a few years of this journey, I realized something. I wanted to share this incredible world of DAOs with others, to bridge the gap between those who are already familiar with the concept and those who were just starting out. In fact, if you've never heard of DAOs, Web3, or even blockchain, then this podcast aims to be the spark that ignites your curiosity. For me, DAOnboarding starts as a podcast, but it could get to be much more than that. Let's just see where this adventure takes us. For now, it will be a place to share the stories, experiences, and insights of those contributing to DAOs. It's a space where we explore together the challenges, wins, and defeats, the good and the bad of decentralized work. You never know what you can learn from each other's journeys. And to be honest, there's nothing better than to learn by relating to others, sharing deep knowledge of life experiences. So, in the upcoming episodes, we'll go deeper into the core of the principle of DAOs. We're going to chat with contributors who are shaping the landscape and discuss potential challenges of the movement. So whether you're new to the world of DAOs or a deep contributor, just join me in this journey and let's go. With time, we learned that DAOs can have many, many definitions, but our goal here in DAOnboarding is just to make things simple, so we'll do that. DAOs are just a new way of organization. It's a new way to coordinate between ourselves, as humans around the world. DAOs combine non-traditional practices of managing people and projects, and its very core is based on decentralization, something that's very much needed in today's world. To participate, you only need your willingness to learn and interest in a certain mission or a goal and a device connected to the internet, such as your computer or mobile device. Each community is decentralized, which means that there is no CEO, no boss, no central authority. It uses the blockchain for coordination and decision-making. We'll go deeper into the details of how DAOs work in the second episode of DAOnboarding. For now, let's focus on the story. So let's say you never heard the term before. That's totally fine. It's okay. Probably you've heard of Bitcoin or Ethereum. If not, all good too. This is exactly the sign then for you to keep listening. Bitcoin is one part of the technology, but blockchain itself is a much bigger aspect. It's like a blank canvas. It's like an opportunity to create the new internet of value. Let's dig in a little bit on what is Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3. The internet is a great tool that we all use, but to the moment, it's very extractive of value. Most of the platforms that we know have changed the original purpose of the internet. At the beginning, the internet was created to be open source, decentralized, but nowadays, most people think the internet is just Google, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, to name a few. Every time we use the internet, we have to share our data, our full name, email, phone number, birthday, address, our pet's name, you name it. It wasn't always this way, though. Now it's all about signing in with Google and other apps. Each time we do this, our data is then shared with companies that pay the same platforms to show us ads. That's all about data extraction, value extraction, and attention payouts. You'll literally pay for your attention. It wasn't always this way, though. The first internet, Web 1, was created initially without all of this data extraction. Blockchain and decentralization seek to bring us back to the roots of the internet, but now with a new financial layer on top. As I mentioned, you might have heard about Bitcoin and Ethereum again before, right? But that's only one part of what blockchain technology can do. There is a much bigger picture to all of this. DAOs can have different shapes depending on how mature they are, the goal they have, and their contributors. The one thing that they have in common, though, is that they have a shared crypto account. Instead of a bank account kept by a centralized entity, the crypto account is managed in a totally self-sovereign way. Community accounts are run by a group of people that are aligned with a certain mission. So in simple words, it's like getting together with a group of friends, creating an account together, and using those funds to achieve a purpose. Now, how does this happen? By participating actively in the community, you may start making proposals and decisions on what should be the next steps to achieve this or that. Once a proposal is live, people vote on it, and eventually it gets done. So it's a great way to actually keep moving forward towards the mission. Missions can be super diverse, from art to finances to nonprofit organizations, science, you name it. But we'll discover different types of DAOs through the course of DAOnboarding, talking to different contributors from all over the world. Now, to get some actual context on decentralized work, let's talk about facts. According to DeepDAO, the leading discovery and analytics engine from the DAO ecosystem, 25,615 DAOs exist up to date with a total treasury of $19.9 billion. Wow, right? Now that's a fact that DAOs are growing and getting stronger with time. Now it's time to go down the rabbit hole. This first episode is in fact called Falling Down the Rabbit Hole. Now you might be asking yourself, well, what does this even mean? What does Alice's Adventures in Wonderland from 1865 have to do with all of this? Well, falling or going down the rabbit hole refers to the fact of getting deep into something. When we discover something new, we're at the top of the rabbit hole. Then we start learning more and more and more and more, and it gets deeper and deeper, ending up somewhere really strange. Well, this was exactly the case for me. As like many of us during the pandemic, I felt I had a full awareness moment and I started questioning everything everything. My background has always been in marketing and communications, but first I did study biochemical engineer and science for a few years in college. But towards the end of the career, I struggled immensely. During the internships, I realized that I prefer to be more with people than with pipes and full of reactors. So after some time, I finally decided to switch to marketing and communications, which is my strength right now. During this process, I was able to do communications for different types of industries. Thankfully, all of these were related to my passions, science and music. The first one, I started doing communications for events that I wanted to attend for free. Then I started digging into science, where I did communications for a TV show in my country called Todo por la Ciencia. Then with time, and since I enjoyed music very much, I started working and doing marketing and comms for the music industry, where I contributed for around 10 to 12 years. Then a moment of inflection came because during the pandemic in 2020, it was for many of us a big important change. Events were just gone. Music events didn't exist. Music was struggling to be alive. Oh boy, what a time. Of course, many industries were also having a very challenging moment, but it felt as if there was nothing, absolutely nothing that we could do to bring music back. Live events were the very last industry to come back from the pandemic. So actually work was very difficult in that time. Despite the challenges, with the team, we reinvented ourselves and we evolutionized. We started researching what we could do on immersive experiences. We did streaming because at that time, the trend was all around streaming. Everyone still wanted to enjoy music from their homes, and we decided with the team that it was going to be a great experience doing an immersive music festival. This learning process brought me down to WebXR, virtual reality. Actually, my first contact was with Super Nintendo's Virtual Boy. So I got to learn about Discord. I had never used Discord before. By navigating it, I started to meet really awesome people and friends. One day, talking about music with a friend who studied computer science from Canada, he shared all about NFTs and how this would change the music industry. I quickly Googled it up and read the Wikipedia article, and boom, my mind just exploded. During this path, in parallel, I started learning more about Bitcoin and decentralized money. During the pandemic, the Chilean government gave Chileans the option to access part of their retirement funds to survive during the pandemic. So there I was with some funds available, and since there was nothing else to spend it on, like I'm referring to no external activities, nothing to do outside of the house, right? I decided to think about investing. Now, I started searching for info on what to invest through my local banks, but I realized that the options that I had to buy any type of a share were just like none. I found myself with a lot of challenges. You had to have a certain profile and you had to have a certain way of doing things, of moving your assets or having certain income, etc. To be able to start investing, it was just such a burden. Obviously, the return of bank savings and all of that is very, very low. So that's why I decided to learn even more about Bitcoin and Ethereum. This part of the learning process, with the mix of the research of immersive music experiences, led me to discover a lot of interesting content. At that time, I saw a podcast from Camilo Russo, a Chilean journalist who wrote the book The Infinite Machine. I also listened to some podcast of Koopa Troopa, also a music journalist at that time, involved heavily in blockchain industry. Thanks to Camila and Koopa Troopa, I started learning more and digging into the world of decentralized work. So in summary for now, I said, all right, Bitcoin and Ethereum seem cool, investing is interesting, but if it's all about, just looking at the price of tokens going up and down, I just said this can't be it. it just takes too much of your attention, so difficult. You'll feel worried about the prices, etc., and that's definitely not ideal. The thing is that through this content that I started consuming, things that I started learning, I got to learn about DAOs, decentralized work, communities, etc. And a lot of people in these podcasts, they made a lot of emphasis that in DAOs, you would be able to express your interests and develop your skills with friends. Basically, work with friends on the things that you like. Amazing, right? So yeah, you can use your superpowers, as I call them, and your abilities to give value to something that really interests you. At the time, they mentioned a media DAO called Bankless DAO. So I decided to start digging and learn more about it. I said, okay, this is interesting. A media DAO, communications, marketing, branding, that's my thing, right? But why is it called Bankless? So I joined the DAO and I started learning. I went through a beautiful onboarding process where I got to meet awesome people. I introduced myself, I shared my skill set, and then you were prompted to join the guild, or you could actually join all of them if you wanted. So I started thinking, taking into consideration that I had no idea whatsoever how the community was organized, how could I contribute? At the same time that I started learning about the community itself, I started learning what it meant to be bankless. So if we want to sum it up, it means responsibility. This is because in Web3, and we'll get deeper into this in another episode, you are actually the sole owner of your assets. You're responsible for your assets. So before the bank held them, right? But now you do. If you lose them, you can't go over to the bank and tell them, hey, give them back. No, you become responsible of your own assets. This gives an immense amount of freedom and accessibility worldwide, but at the same time, it gives a lot of responsibility. All right, so that was a new thing. I was learning it in parallel, right? What it meant, how to be bankless. To start contributing, I first joined the Translators Guild because I said, okay, how can I provide value? It was also interesting to observe how the community behaved, interacted, and it was also interesting that everyone was just looking to contribute. Everyone supported each other and everyone uplifted each other in an amazing way. I started translating Bankless content from the Bankless DAO newsletters to Spanish, and with that I learned how to participate in the DAO. By contributing, you earn governance tokens, which then serve the purpose of voting of how the DAO moves forward. At the same time, I also joined the marketing department, which is now more of my field, right? And I slowly started, again, contributing in a more deeper manner. Bankless DAO's mission is to create friendly on-ramps to educate about Web3. For this, DAO uses the traditional Web2 platforms where different media assets are created, and that's how I started to plug in the marketing department, doing Instagram posts and also translating. So everything it was just about building from the bottom up. So it kind of works like this. You see, for example, certain things that are happening, right? You see where there is a need, you identify it, and once you identify it, you raise your hand and say, hey, I would like to contribute here. And since it's a very permissionless environment, you just go and do it. Through different contributions, people see what you do, you provide your knowledge, you share knowledge, and you start engaging with the community. You become part of a family that's like a nation state. The first folks that I met were from so many different parts of the world. DAO contributors who are like 80 years old from the US, other folks in their 20s from Nigeria, also people from the UK, Latin America, and Mexico. So in one go, I was just able to start working collaboratively with different people around the world. The beautiful thing about this is that no one really cared or worried about your background. I mean, you just step up with your skill set, with your energy, your attitude, and there was no judgment at all. So a person that is already senior in their field is treated equally as someone that is just starting now. This whole concept of treating everyone equally really caught my attention. All of this happened around October 2021. Now, 2 years later, I've had different and diverse roles in the DAO, the latest one being the lead for the marketing department for a whole year. third episode of DAOnboarding will go deeper into the realms of Bankless DAO, definitely one of the historical DAOs in the space. By being active in the community and contributing, I naturally started learning so much about Web3, about blockchain, technology, about investing, about content creation. Everything happened by just being there and helping other folks learn as well. Thanks to the contributions shown in Bankless DAO, I was then later invited to join Bankless Academy, a project that has my heart and soul today. Bankless Academy is a free open-source Web3 educational platform. It's an app built on a decentralized blockchain that has different lessons. It's Web3 knowledge for free, accessible for everyone to just go there and learn the basic concepts, do some activities on-chain, meaning interacting with the blockchain, and through this, you can learn the basics of Web3 on the road. The goal is to become a Bankless explorer. When I joined the team, Bankless Academy had just been born, and I still say today that if I had the opportunity to learn everything again, Bankless Academy should be the first step in anyone's journey. So yes, I am a bit biased, but with a lot of reasoning. In the links to the video, I will drop all the info regarding to Bankless DAO and Bankless Academy so you can start digging your own rabbit hole yourself. So yeah, I'm happily immersed in Web3. It has changed my life in so many positive ways. I've met tons of people around the world now traveling to Ethereum events where the community meets in real person, and everyone is working on so many different incredible projects creating the new internet of value. There's so much room for growth and for discovery, and of course, many, many human stories to tell. Remember, DAOnboarding isn't just a podcast. It's a place to share stories, experiences, and insights of those contributing to decentralized work and the internet of value. It's a space where we explore together the challenges, wins, defeats of decentralized work. You never know what you can learn from each other's journeys. So remember, let's be honest, there's nothing better than to learn by relating to others. Let's keep sharing the deep knowledge of life through our own experiences. That's all for now, friends. Thanks for listening to the first episode of DAOnboarding, Falling Down the Rabbit Hole. See you on the next one.